everybody.
Hi everyone.
We're back again with another one. And this week we are back with a little bit of a sensitive one. But before we get into it, I'm gonna catch up. How's your week been, girl?
Same.
How are you? How has your week been?
I feel like my week has been hectic. My week has been hectic because I've been spending a lot of time with myself, and I've been doing like a lot of looking into my emotions. So that has made things a bit heavy for me this week because I've had so many realizations. I did this exercise.
Okay.
There's this exercise that you do where you connect with your inner child.
Okay.
And what you do is you'll ask your inner child a question. Like you write the question down, and then the inner child will respond. But when the inner child responds, you write with your left hand. Or like if you're left-handed, you write with your right hand.
Like you don't take
the dominant hand.
Okay.
Yeah. So like it's like literally the inner child speaking.
Responding. Okay.
And she said some things that left me feeling like but also it's like I did not know.
I didn't know that. Okay.
And there's no ways I could have known that unless I did the exercise.
You didn't do the exercise.
And I was like, I don't think I want to see you for the next couple of days.
Okay.
I feel like we should take a break.
Okay, inner child, being aggressive and everything.
Because you're coming for me at this point.
Know?
So I did that, and it actually led to me having a realization about what we're going to be talking about today. Yeah. So it was insightful. It's been an insightful week.
I also feel like it's also nice to shed the light on some things sometimes. Get to know things that you to know about yourself, especially because we learn a little more about ourselves every day as we grow. And my week was refreshing, to say the most. I was home. I was at peace. I was glowing, like you said. Yeah, man. Like
you should actually put up the pictures.
I put up the pictures.
Yeah.
I was at peace, man. Everything was just at ease. I wasn't thinking too much about anything, like I usually do. I wasn't in my head a lot this week because I feel like I'm in my head a lot.
Okay.
Most of the time. So this week was kind of like a break for me, I guess. So I enjoyed that a lot. I did. Yeah.
I just touched my glass and I thought we have to explain this. Yeah.
This is engagement, guys.
Also, it's a new thing that we're trying because you haven't done this.
Yeah, because also we did ask you guys for suggestions.
Yeah, and someone
nice suggested that
we have something to drink or something to eat,
but we thought something to eat is gonna mess with the audio, the sound. Yeah. So this was the best that we could do. We hope that you like it.
I'm
the
thinking
person that suggested this.
For me, like the whole time I've been thinking, how am I gonna explain to people that I have a glass of wine in my hand when I've told people that I don't drink? It's not even a thing of like I open an explanation or whatever, but I just think, my brother's gonna ask, you said. Because he's literally like been pushing me to say, if you drink, it's fine. Just admit that you drink. But I'm like, I don't drink. This is occasion stuff.
This is for the people.
Yeah, this is
the people of the mind. Not peer pressure though, but for the people.
Yeah. Because it's fun also. So.
It is fun, and also we don't overdo things over here. So.
Yeah. There's definitely a limit to this. Yeah. And
I hope it also brings a little bit of a nice touch, I guess.
And
also, I like it. I love this idea so much because I fidget a lot with my hands and my fingers and stuff like that. So I think it's gonna help control that. Yes. Yeah. And this week's topic, coming in hot, is men's role in our lives and in society in general. And I would like Sissy to answer this first. What do you think? You would say.
Do you see me looking at you?
Like I see you looking at me like, girl.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna throw you in the deep end a little bit. Like, what do you think, what role do men play or have played in your life? Just briefly.
I don't know if I can keep it brief, but also I feel like I have to
unwind if you must. Also
collect my thoughts about it, because I was someone who was very stubborn and on the train of I don't need men. I do not like men. I do not understand their roles in society. But I think, as I was thinking about it this week, I think it mostly comes from men having failed to play the roles that they were supposed to play in my life.
Yeah.
And the conversation that I was having with my inner child was that I don't like men.
It happens.
I don't like men. And like not even in that way. Like I am attracted to men.
You just don't like them.
I just don't, because you know what? I think about it, and I've thought about it even before, but I think it's coming up even more now that for a very long time, I looked at the men around my life and I had so much resentment towards them and towards men in J, because I felt like God has trusted you with so much as a man, and I feel like you guys have failed and you guys continue to fail. And I would look at it from the perspective of, if I were a man, I'd do it so much better. I'd show up so much better than you guys are doing right now.
And also, I feel like it gets to that point where you say you hate men, because it's a thing of not them just failing, them choosing to fail.
Yeah, because it's like you have a
doing
choice.
It consciously and willingly, like choosing to fail.
That's an important point you make.
Like they choose to do these things. It's not like
you don't have to.
It's not most of the time where you get that someone is not playing their role because they can't or because of circumstance. It's simply just them choosing.
They don't have excuses anymore. They can't be saying it's because of this or that. Like, you have to put in the work if you want to show up as a better man. And I always say this, like, even for women, there's so many platforms. If you feel like you've been through things, there's so many platforms for you to work on the things that you've been through and to show up as a better person. And I feel like sometimes it's not even about you doing the work. I feel like for me, most of the time what I need is for a man to acknowledge when they've messed up. A man to acknowledge that they are messing up. It's like, I have a sense of awareness that there's something that I'm doing wrong, and because I have that sense of awareness, I can now intentionally start to work towards being better at that thing.
Yeah. I hear that. For me, I can say, for the longest time, I thought like the men in my life not playing their role has no effect on me. That's what I thought for the longest time, until I've grown to see that actually, you know what, I've been affected by a lot of that. It's just that I was choosing not to see it or not to acknowledge it, you know. And especially what we'd call today in society a girl with daddy issues, but I didn't realize that until very late into my life, because I'm you know, typical stats, SA, deadlift, single mom, but I had a stepdad for a few years in my life, and I feel like he closed the gap so much that I felt like I had no reason to feel bad about my dad leaving or anything like that until late in my life, when I started I started realizing that, you know, actually in some way my dad leaving did affect me, as much as it took time for me to acknowledge it and to see it. It actually did have an effect. I feel like I have something on my throat. No.
Okay, because you did say you had flu. So
yeah, excuse me, guys. Even my voice is sounding a little bit sexier. It's not that. I have flu, guys. And when I say my dad leaving had an effect on me, and I only noticed later how I think that had an effect on me is, like, for so long in my life, I didn't care about people leaving my life, you know. And I only realized later, after so many people had left, and I was like, how was I okay with all of these people leaving and just not questioning it or not looking to see if maybe I'm the reason that they're leaving? I didn't question it for so long that when I did question it, it was clear. It was clear because of how many people had left, and it was like, how was I okay with that? How did I not sit down and think to say, how did that happen? Like, what is the reason? that I don't care that these people leave, and also what is the reason that people just leave? Because I feel like it's very questionable. People just like walk out of your life or just leave with no reason, and it's even more questionable that I don't question it. That's what I found. I feel like for most of my upbringing, before I actually realized that, I feel like for the longest time I've told myself that my dad leaving had no effect. And I touched on this on a little snippet of a video when I was talking about like how my name came about and me meeting my dad's family and him still choosing not to show up, you know. I feel like that's when I started realizing that, you know what, we make so much excuses for men not playing their role in our life, and it's just simply them choosing not to play those roles. Yeah. So, but also on the other hand, I do feel like there are men who play their roles and they execute it so well, and you know, kudos to those men, because you are important in society, you matter, and I just wish that you'd realize that. Most of them, I wish that they could realize that, because if not all of them if all of them don't realize it, we wouldn't have the Springboks, guys. We wouldn't have won the World Cup. We wouldn't be sitting here recording this as Rugby World Cup champions 2023 back to back. You know what I'm saying?
We did that.
Yeah, we did that. And it's because of men who choose to take their role seriously.
I will say that I agree with that point, but to some extent disagree.
Okay.
Because I feel like they are good men, but it's like, that's the thing with men. Men will show up for their work.
Yes.
And they will show up for other things and neglect other things. Yeah. So like, for example, with the rugby men, like we might look at them and think they're good men.
But in retrospect,
it's
they
like,
realize
you don't know how they show up in their personal lives.
Yeah.
You don't know how they show up for themselves on a daily, like outside of the sport itself. Yeah. It's like, you don't know. Like what you touched on about not realizing that you had daddy issues. I literally realized yesterday that I had daddy issues. It's not even. I think it wasn't a realization per se. It was an acceptance.
Okay.
Because what happened with me is that I lost my dad like even before I could know him. Like he died when I was still a baby, and I felt like because he died, like he didn't leave. So I felt like I was excluded from having daddy issues, and I was like. But he wasn't there. I didn't have a male figure. I didn't have a secure base, like a male figure in my life. And that, to some extent, like I do have daddy issues. There are certain ways that I relate to men, or I can't relate to men because I didn't have like and it's like I did have men in my life growing up. Like I have my brother who has consistently showed up as a father figure in my life, and it's always been so difficult for me to receive that because he's the oldest and there's 3 of us, and I feel like he lost so much of his life trying to
fill that gap,
that role of life. But also at the same time, it's like even for me, like I feel like I can't trust him to be like, I can't expect him to show up as my dad, and at the same time it's like I don't have a choice but to, because he's the only male figure to do that. Even like I have so many male figures in my life, but like the one person who's been consistent and who's been there is my brother. When I need something, whenever something happens in my life, he's the person I think of calling because he has shown up consistently as a father figure. But I've always felt guilty.
Yeah, you can't help but like you putting too much
pressure on him, and it's like he doesn't deserve that, because in as much as I lost a father,
he also lost a father.
And I feel like in our case it was a thing of he lost someone that he knew, so he knows what he's missing out on. I don't know. And this is something that I realized also, it's that I do not have the consciousness of a father.
I get what you're saying.
Like I do not know what it is to have a father, that I do not know what I'm missing out on. But I feel like as a human being, biologically, psychologically, I'm wired to have a father. And it's like, for me, it's like, I don't know.
How do I work around that?
Because I think, so there's my brother, obviously, and then I tried to do this because I had an experience where, can I just say before I tell the story, I feel like this topic is like deep, and I just thought it funny that like it's the second topic that we're doing into the podcast.
Like, but I feel like it's what we said though. People must accept like touching base on things that people will run away from, that they don't want to talk about. Like, you know, the conversations you have in your head that it's time to face. It's time to face them.
I feel like in as much as I try to cultivate, I still want to go back to that point I wanted to make. I feel like in as much as I try to cultivate safe spaces for me to show up as the sister that I am when I'm with myself, I still feel like maybe I'm doing too much. Maybe I should take it down. It's like, how much of myself can I share? And how much of my perspectives can I share that I feel like I don't want people to look at me some type of way. So what I was gonna say is that, so I used to go to church, and I met this bishop, the pastor of the church, and I was having a conversation about not having a father in my life, and I was like, why didn't God want me to have that experience, like of having a father in my life? And he said God wanted to father you himself. That's why he didn't allow for you to have a father figure in your life. And at that time I thought, I do not receive that because it doesn't make sense to me. I do not like it. And I think, and I say that, because of my relationship with God, I will say this, I felt like, and I always say that, God, if you say that you didn't give me a father because you wanted to father me yourself, I feel like you failed. I feel like you haven't shown up as the best father to me. It's like, if you were saying that your father is not there, I'm going to be there for you, I'm going to be your father. I haven't seen you show up for me in that way.
And also, this void is still here.
The void is still there, like it's still not being filled. And I realized yesterday that it's been so difficult for me to see God as father and to receive him as father, because I do not have consciousness of what
a
father is and what a father is supposed to play. So like, I don't know how to rely on God in the same way that I would rely on my father. But I feel like, what if I did have a dad, and I'd still have to learn how to rely on God as my father?
And it's just like, how do you know how to do it, basically?
When you do not have experience of what it is to be
I feel like it's also kind of the same thing with like how I kind of just easily accepted the fact that my dad is not there, because I don't know him. Like, unlike with my brother, because he reaches out and he's the person to say, I don't think he's as mad or as don't care about it as I am, you know, because he knows him, you know, he's met him, and he was around for a couple of years. No, my dad wasn't around.
Really?
I walked past my dad in the street and I wouldn't know.
Probably hit on you and you
wouldn't know. That's the thing. Like, I've never met him, so I feel like I have no right to have any sort of feelings towards him, because how am I having feelings about someone that I don't know?
I promise you, I used to feel like that. I used to think, like, how is it possible that I miss my dad and I meet my dad when I don't even know him? Like, I never, like, I don't know him at all. And somebody said, your spirit knows.
You know?
Because when your mom was pregnant with you, your dad was there. So your spirit knows. And your spirit knows what it's missing out on.
I feel like maybe your dad created that connection with you when your mom was pregnant. Unlike my dad was just no show, bro.
Really?
No show from pregnancy. I feel like, I don't know, like, he was just never around. I just don't have any feelings towards him. I don't remember feeling anything towards him. Growing up, I still didn't. Even now, I'd be lying if I said I feel I have a certain feeling. Because even if I was to say I'm mad or angry, I'm just saying it. Honestly, if I'm being honest, I'm not mad, I'm not angry, I'm not missing him. I'm not like,
you feel
literally
nothing.
Feel nothing.
I think I find,
and I don't know, I feel like there's something wrong with that. I don't know if I'm looking for something wrong in that, or if there's really just something wrong with that.
I feel like Because I was gonna say it's hard for me to believe that you don't feel anything.
That's the thing. That's what got me to a point where I'm saying there must be something wrong with this.
Because you can grow numb to things.
How do I just not care?
I don't know. I feel like maybe if you, because I feel like there has to be certain moments before like your stepdad came in.
Yeah.
There has to be certain moments when you felt like I need a dad, or you went to school with kids and kids were like, my dad is doing this, and you're like, I have no recollection of what that means or what that looks like. And it's like sometimes you suppress those parts. And I feel like even with your dad like coming into your life, it's like you feel like, but I have a good father now. Why should I miss that?
I feel like the thing is, when my stepfather came into the picture, I was still like very young, so he was there for all the moments that I needed a dad.
Okay.
You understand? So it's a thing of like I started school, he was there.
Okay.
You know, like I just with my stepdad, it's like he came into my mom's life when I was like very young. So when I opened my eyes,
he was there.
He was there. You know, so like when I started carrying like some sort of independence, like starting to see stuff as a child, you know, it's not, you don't, you know, when you're a toddler, you don't really pay attention to stuff or stuff like that, you know. So when I was starting school, primary school, everything, he was there, like he's always been there. So it's a thing of, I don't think I had a period in my life where I didn't have a dad when I needed a dad. But after my stepfather passed away, it was also like it wasn't a huge thing that I didn't have a dad, because I knew what it felt like to have him, you know. So when he wasn't around, it was just a thing of, also my mom, big ups to my mom, like when my stepdad left, she covered all the bases. When I say covered all the bases, I mean covered all the bases, because we missed him, we still miss him, but I feel like the role that my mom played after that, in our grieving, in our moving on with life, that was just, she played a phenomenal part, man. Like it was just not, we couldn't think about him not being there and say life is difficult, you know. Even on the days when life was difficult, it's just like we had someone who was carrying us through those days. So I feel like maybe that's why I feel like I didn't have time to think about my father. Actually, that's why I feel like I have no feelings towards him, because I didn't have time to think about him, you know. Because I didn't feel his absence. I didn't feel the absence of not having a dad, you know. Until later on in my life, then I feel like somehow, some way, he did kind of have an effect on how I turned out in terms of like not caring when people just leave my life. Because I felt like I could do without you.
Because you could do without.
I could do without him. Who are you? You know, the person who brought me to this world. He's not here and he doesn't care. So if you leave, why should I care? You know.
I hear a lot about like girls needing a father and a father's voice, like just like the presence of a father in their lives. And I think with most of the things, I always consider myself to be an exception, and I always consider that other girls maybe need their father and their father's affirmations, but I'm the exception. I carry myself around like I don't need those affirmations. I don't need someone that I can always go back to. But the truth of the matter is that I do.
You do need that person.
But at the same time, I feel angry that I do. And sometimes I think about it in terms of like, God, why did you not think of me as worthy of having a father?
Why did you not think me worthy of having a dad?
And I feel like
those experiences that comes with having a dad.
Yeah, I feel like I keep being drawn to people who have father figures in their lives, and I feel like I do it because I want to see what I'm missing out on. And I feel like I just want it as an affirmation to say that I am made of God, because why is it that everybody else gets to have
you chose it not to be?
Why is it that everybody else gets to have this? And I think it has done so much damage to my worth, because I'm like I'm not even worthy of knowing a father. Like it's like
a given, basic given in life. That. It's like a basic necessity. It's like for me to be here, there must have been a dad.
Exactly, and it's like you didn't think that I was worthy of experiencing that, and I feel like that makes me not want to relate to God as Father even more, because I'm like, I can't imagine that my Father would be okay with me experiencing such pain, or would deprive me of like such good experiences in my life. I feel like it's such a heavy thing for me, because it's like this push and pull relationship with men where I'm like, I hate these people, because these people never show up in the way that they're supposed to show up. And I feel like, you know, this whole chat of like masculine energy, feminine energy, I feel like not having a father in my life has made me lean more into my masculine energy, where I feel like I have to fend for myself. I have to protect myself. I have to get things done so that I can feel safe and secure in this world. I don't want that. I don't want to be...
You can't want that, because I feel like it's like in this world that we're living in, men need women as much as women need men.
Yeah.
And in the position that you're in, it's kind of going to be hard to accept that and live with it, because...
But I do admit that I need a man in my life.
That's the thing, but it's kind of hard to navigate to actually say that.
And actually receive
and
it
accept
when
that I
available.
need men as much as men need me,
in their lives. And I feel like even now, like with everything that's happening in society, it's kind of like we're being taught to think that we don't need men. Like I feel like people would look at us funny when we think that we do need men, because everybody wants to shame men. And I feel like, for me, I feel like there has to be a space for grace in the way that we relate with men, and in the way that men relate with us. Because I feel like for a very long time, men had to suppress their emotions, and they couldn't express themselves. They didn't know how to deal with feelings when they came up. And it's like now they are being allowed that platform. And I feel like in the same way that we are allowing women to have economic freedom and all of that, I feel like we should allow men to have emotional freedom. Like there should be that balance of like...
And I like that you say that, because I feel like to some extent, the fact that men couldn't speak about their emotions and deal with it, also, I feel like that's sort of kind of almost also the reason that they do things the way they do. You know, like how are they expected to take up all these responsibilities and carry them out without expressing how they feel, you know?
And somebody was saying this, like, we forget that at the core of it all, they are human beings.
Human, you know?
They have emotions. Like, they might not express them in the same ways that we express them, or experience them in the same way that we experience them, but they have those feelings.
It just boils down to, we can't paint everyone with the same brush, man. You know? Just like how we would expect for them not to see us as the same as women. And I feel like we should allow them that grace, let's not just paint everyone with the same brush, saying my dad fucked up my Spanish. My dad did what he did doesn't mean someone else's dad is gonna do what he did. And with your dad not being alive, him being alive, you can't fault him or think bad of him, because we don't know. If he was here, he probably would have been a kick-ass dad, you know?
And I think that's the thing that I hate, where people make me think that, or maybe he would have left, or maybe he wouldn't have been a good day. I'm like, we don't know that.
We don't know that.
Like, why can't we think positively? Like, why can't I imagine? Like, the same way that my brothers have experienced him, why couldn't it be that I got to experience him in the same way? And I feel like the issue, like, with the whole men need women, women need men chat, I think the issue started, like, the way there was a breakage in the relationship was that when men started thinking that they were better than women because they were providing and they were protecting and they had more physical strength. I feel like for me, like in the way that I relate to men now, I want to be a woman, and I want to be surrounded by men who see the beauty in a woman. And it's not a thing of it's a competition because you, like, let's see who can provide better, let's see who can protect better. It's like,
I feel like everyone just play a role. And also allow the person playing their role the grace to say they're doing just as much as you are.
And I feel it shouldn't be a thing of I'm
the provider, I'm the protector, so I'm doing
you're better. It's like no, there's so much that women bring to the table. I hate that shit. But there's so much that
women,
we bring to the table, and it's not a competition. There should be a balance of
we all just coming here serving our purpose and like growing and serving our roles, especially like growing to our roles. I might overstep into yours, you might overstep into mine, but in a way that we are helping each other navigate this life thing, But let's not bring each other down or compete or say I'm better than the other and the other is better than the other and such forth. Because I feel like those are conversations that should not be had at all. No excuse, no, like they shouldn't be had. There shouldn't be a check that men are better than women or women are better than men in any sort of platform, like in terms of business or whatever it is that we're chatting about. You shouldn't be having chats that one gender is better than the other gender, because we are placed here for different purposes at the end, and we can't serve those purposes without the other at the end of the day.
And that's
because if you are a man without a woman and you're providing and you are protecting, who are you providing for and who are you protecting? And if you are a woman and you're nurturing and you're doing all these things that your role entails, who are you doing those things for? Or if there's no man,
I feel like there's so much more to nurturing. People have limited it to being in the kitchen and doing, but like
there's a lot of ways
so
that
much more
nurture,
to nurturing, and it shouldn't be limited to that. It shouldn't be limited to a way that makes me feel inferior to a man. It's like there's so much more that I can do with my ability.
Nurturing isn't just mothering, or like how we put it in basic terms, like mothering, giving birth and raising kids. That's not
I feel like we can nurture businesses as well.
Everything we can nurture,
like everything that we want
you can
to
nurture. How
relationships with people,
you can nurture with your partner. You can nurture your partner as well, like support him in everything that he does, nurture him, like be there for the things that he can't do while he's pushing him, and vice versa. Men can also nurture if they wanted to. They could,
Also, this is not to like invalidate the experiences of women who've been made to feel inferior. We're just saying that there is
your feelings are valid, but there is a possible reality
that's different from what you've experienced. And I feel like if we all just pull together as both men and women, we can make that reality come true. Like we can live that life where no one is better than the other, no one is more important than the other,
and we're all just fulfilling our roles, and life is just life, Like we give life so much ammunition, and you come back and say life is hard, life is this, and life is that.
And I feel like if you think life is hard, it's gonna be hard.
That's the thing. I'm saying we give life so much power, or we speak these things over our lives that when they happen, you come back to say, this is how life is. Life is hard. When you are putting such things into the universe,
I wanted to ask you a question.
And
I don't want us to delve into this because I hate it so much that all that people talk about these days is dating and relationships and all of that. I love relationships and I think they're beautiful, but I feel like the chat, like online, is mostly like dating advice and all of that. It's like,
it's overdone. Like, can you do something else?
But I wanted to ask, how do you think the men in your life have affected the way you view relationships and the way you show up in relationships?
Like I said, the one thing that, like, when people leave, I don't care. That affected me in terms of relationships mostly. And I'd had to realize that and accept it to make a change, because I always hated when I realized that I was actually, when people say daddy issues, they're talking about me. I hated coming into relationships with that. So I've had to work a lot on myself in terms of that. Like, don't carry that. Like how I'm saying, don't paint everyone with the same brush. I've learned to accept that just because this happened to me and it was done to me by my dad doesn't mean every male figure that comes close to me is going to do the same thing. Or even if it's not my dad, from previous relationships, when I experienced things, I've learned to deal with them, accept them, and not carry them over into a new relationship, because I feel like that's where glitches come in, because now you get people paying for other people's sins, and it's not fair. I feel like it's not fair. So I feel like also if you find yourself in a relationship and you're not treating your partner good, or you're not able to show up for your partner or give, I feel like it's a work on yourself thing. You know, don't give people the responsibility to help you with your issues. I feel like it's unfair to subject people to those situations where they must now, like, just so tomorrow we can say we've been through thick and thin. No. I hate that. Why can't love be can be all roses and everything, you know? And you can't subject people to the messiness that you come with just so you can say in the end we've been through thick and thin, or you've been there for me in my worst times. You know, why can't it be always good? And the worst times should be situations that you find yourself with your partner. I feel like it should be new things. It shouldn't be cheating and doing stuff like that. Like don't do that. Cheating, no. That's not going through the most with your partner. Like also, when you cheat, think about your brand, man. What does that say about you as a person? About you as a person. Like, how do you do such things and you think tomorrow it's okay? Yeah, it's not that bad, baby. You know. And no, man, don't do that. Let's just protect your brand, man. Just protect your brand. Don't do stuff like that. And I feel like it's unfair to give people your mess and expect them to deal with it just so you can say in the end we made it through. I feel like the problems that you face in your relationships should be new problems that you came up with, you know? I feel like for me, one, it has made me feel or think that there aren't available men. Okay. That men are not available. And I feel that. Any good available men. I feel like it has made me think that there's a scarcity of men. I don't know how to explain it, but like it makes sense to me. I kind of get it because I was in that space for a while. Yeah. And I think it also made it difficult for me to trust men. That men are going to do what they say they're going to do when they say they're going to do it. And I think it has made me expect less and take BS. Almost said it has made me take BS from men because there isn't a set standard that I can follow. There isn't an example, and I feel like when you're looking outside, it's not like you're cheating, because look at this. Oh my god. But you know me. You like I know you. Yeah. No pressure. Anyway, no pressure. Man. So I feel like it has made me feel, I think I'm losing my train of thought, but I think it has made me feel unworthy of expecting certain things in relationships from men, because it's like, you want this. Who has ever given this to you that you feel like you can want it from somebody else? From men. Exactly. And I was gonna say, like, the way that people say, or you can like look online to see examples of good relationships. I feel it's so different when you have experienced that in your life than when you see it on TV or you see it online. When you have experienced it in real life, it's like, I know what it feels like, I know what it looks like, and I want that for you. TV sells a lot of lives. Yeah, and that's the thing. I grew up watching Olivia Pope, and I thought Olivia Pope was the ish. You're out here watching Me Before You, and like a man like that for me. Exactly, and it's like, that doesn't make sense. So I feel like it has affected me in that way, and I feel like in more ways than I'm willing to admit. And I think it's also because as a society we have suppressed or we've downplayed the role that men play in our lives. And I feel like there's so many more added experiences, like even with somebody who has men in their lives, it's like they do not know what to expect because that role of men in their lives has been suppressed. Even though the men are there. And I feel like it's just been so difficult for me because I'm like, I hate that I need men. It's difficult for me to accept that I need men. And sometimes I feel like I set unrealistic expectations on purpose because I'm like, it's unattainable. You don't wanna, so I can set whatever standard I want. I'm not gonna get it anyways, and that's fine. And it's sad, man. It is sad, but I feel like with growing, because we grow every day, might come back next month, next week. and you don't feel the same about this chapter, you know?
I like how I feel now.
That's the thing. I'm just saying there is a possibility that you might come back and not feel the same way.
But for now, I feel like acknowledging the fact that I need men in my life. I need good men. I need that good, healthy, masculine energy around me. I feel like that's good. But also the thing is, I've never felt safe around men.
Something we need to work on.
No.
Okay, not you per se. I'm saying something we need to work on as a people, because it's one of men's roles
to and make you feel safe.
And I feel like a lot of our men are failing us in that department.
But for it's kind of crazy for me when I think about it, because I'm like, I have never felt safe around men. Like, even if I do not
no matter
know
the circumstance,
it's like, why are you in this space? Why are you breathing the same
air? You're just not supposed to be.
I
don't want
breathing.
You here.
And it's like even just like my body tensing up in the presence of men. And it's like, I try to think about it like, did somebody make me feel unsafe when I was a child? Like, cause it's like, and it's only now that I've kind of like felt safe.
Looking into it. Also, thinking about it deep makes you look into things like, how did I come to this conclusion of feeling, or how did I end up feeling like this towards men? Bottom line, men need women as much as women need men, and men have important roles in society, roles that they just need to take up, that we as women are ready to see them take. And
I think it's going to be such a beautiful thing.
We are rooting for it all the way, and we hope it happens, man. Let's make the world a better place.
And we want to hear you guys' experiences with the men in your lives. The men that you have like just around you, like it doesn't even have to be like family, but just the men that you have in your life. What's that relationship like, and what do you think is the cause of the relationship being like that? Do you think you have daddy issues? Do you know someone who has daddy issues? And I feel like there's such a negative connotation to the word daddy issues.
And it shouldn't.
It's not even like it's not.
Sometimes it's not that deep. Sometimes it is. It's just context. When you have this thing where they classify you as someone who has daddy issues, don't feel bad, or don't feel like you're not worthy now, or like there's nothing wrong with you. It's just
like it's not your fault.
You just have stuff that you have to deal with, and it's just stuff. You just have stuff that you went through, you know. And you didn't choose to go through this stuff.
And that shouldn't define you. Like your whole person, you as a whole human being, you shouldn't be defined by the fact that you have daddy issues. And I think we tend to do that with our traumas. We like hold on to them and we think
we let them define us. And also do feel free to comment about our point of views, like how we shared some. If you have something that I've said or Cecil said that you feel like you want to touch on or comment on, feel free to do that. And do like the video, comment again, and subscribe.
And we really hope that you made it to this far. Like
we do hope that you are with us from intro video to this video to the next, because we are hoping to build a tight-knit community, you know. We want a community, not just people don't just watch and subscribe, or subscribe and not watch. We're really looking to build a community that we're really gonna connect with and interact with you guys. Do feel free, man. The comment section, I see you guys. We don't fight with anyone. Just
at the end of the day, it's your point of view.
It's your point of view, just like our point of view is ours. And feel free to express yours as well. And also, please do come through with those dilemmas that we did say we would cover in some of the episodes. And suggest topics.
Yes, what would you like us to talk about?
And look out for our next video, because I feel like it's going to be an interesting one. I can and can't wait at the same time, because it's going to be it's a rather tricky one, that one. Thank you guys for watching. We love you so much.
Bye.